I welcome you all in English Petrology class. The topic for today's class is the structures of igneous rocks. In the last class, we had discussed the forms of igneous rocks. Today, we are going to discuss the structures of igneous rocks. The structures are certain large scale features developed in the body of igneous or in the body of, as such you can say, in the body of intrusions or extrusions, giving it conspicuous appearance, which are due to the juxtaposition of more than one kind of textural aggregate within a rock. Structures can be studied megascopically in the field, outcrops, and hand specimen. The textures are mutual relations between different mineral grains and glassy matter, whereas texture deals with external characteristics of the rocks. Now, these are minor differences between these textures, microstructures, structures. The important thing is that textures are mutual relations between different mineral grains and the glassy matter in igneous mass, whereas textures are the external characters, external appearance of the rocks, and that forms they were the shape. So these three topics generally texture, forms, microstructures, textures, they are basic, you can say, the topics of igneous pathology, and there are no hard, and you can say that the arbitrary boundaries between, say, the textures, then the microstructures and the structures. But overall, you can say the structures are the external, you can say the external characters of the rocks, where textures are the internal mutual relations of mineral grains and the glassy matters. So various structures exhibited by igneous rocks can be grouped and into following, means into, broadly you can say we can divide them in three categories. The first is the structures due to the mobility of magma or lava, means that are due to the mobility of the magma or lava. Among these, there are flow structures, pillow structures, spherulitic structures, orbicular structure, ropey and blocky lavas. So these are the few names, or you can say the names of different structures which are formed due to the mobility of lava or magma. Now, flow structures as such, when we talk, the flow structures are basically formed due to the, or you can say are found parallel to or nearly parallel to the layers or bands in the body of igneous mass. The parallelism is caused by the flow of the magma or lava during the process of crystallization. So these are simple in the sense that by the development, means structures are developed, are defined by development of parallel or nearly parallel layers or bands or streaks in the body of igneous mass. The parallelism is called by the flow of the magma or the lava during the process of crystallization. Then next is their pillow structure. You can see the diagram, pillow structure. This is your, I just say this is your pillow structure, just like pillows. These are pillow structure. Characterized by development of bulbous, these are bulbous overlapping pillow-like surfaces. They overlap each other surfaces in the body of an igneous rock mass. It is typical structure of mobile lavas such as basaltic lavas. As lava flows, its upper surface gets solidified, while the lava beneath remains hot and capable of flowing. But further flow is possible only when crust formed at the top of the ruptures. Thus, ruptures occurs at the margins of previously elongated oval mass, from which ruptures lava masses flow out and cool down again. The process is repeated producing overlapping bulbous masses. This is how your bulbous, you can say, that mass is formed. Then next is your, this structure is your spherulitic structure. The spherulitic structure, you can see the diagram. This is just, I again start this, and this is your spherulitic structure. It can be a complete, it may be part or a sector of, right? The spherulitic structure is distinguished by the presence of thin mineral fibers of various sizes arranged, they are arranged in, you can say, radial, in perfect or semi perfect radial manner about a common center, This is, you can say, once again I remove this is a center, this is center, right? From this they radiate out like this, these are radiating out like this. So characterized by presence of thin mineral fibers of various sizes arranged in perfect or semi-perfect radial manner about a common center. It is common structure of acid, volcanic and hyperbasal rocks. The structure results from highly saturated lavas or magmas. This is the character of this. This is from the highly saturated lavas. Then the orbicular structure. The orbicular structure, you can see in this diagram, this is orbicular, this is this orbicular. Now orbicular structure is rare type structure of igneous rocks. In this, rock masses appears as if composed of ball-like segregations. These are ball-like segregations. This is ball-like segregations like this, right? Each such ball is in turn composed of concentric shells of different minerals. This structure is present in varieties of granites and the igneous plutonic rocks. So this is common in granites and the other plutonic igneous rocks. Now then the structures, the second category of structures, and another one was, you can say, your ropy and blocky lavas. Ropy and blocky, these are structures variation developed in the volcanic rock due to different mobility. Highly viscous dry lavas undergo very little movement after their eruption and before cooling. Their surface often broken and fragmented appearance. On the contrary, very mobile lava flows of considerable distances with their surface smoothly wrinkled. The structures so developed are termed blocky and ropy. So what we have discussed are the structures which are formed due to the mobility of the magma or lava, and amongst them are the flow structure, pillow structure, spherulitic structure, orbicular structure, ropy and blocky lavas. Now, second category of structures which are formed due to cooling of the magma or lava. The first and the foremost among these is your vesicular. Now, vesicular as such, vesicular or amygdaloidal. Vesicular or amygdaloidal structures, these are actually the vesicles that are found in the, that also comes in the category of your textures also. So this is the vesicles, means many lavas are rich in gases. At the time of their eruption, the process of cooling crystallization is always accompanied by escape of these gases, and this commonly leads to the formation of cavities of various sizes. Means various sizes of cavities are formed. If are found in the rock, they are known as the vesicular. If these cavities remain empty, then the structure is vesicular, and the shape of these cavities may be, or you can say whatever the shape, if these cavities may subsequently get filled with secondary minerals, right, then it is known as amygdaloidal structure. So simple, if the cavities are present, then it will be your vesicular, and if these vesicles get filled with some secondary mineral, then they will call amygdaloidal structure. The next is your jointing. This is again very important. Jointing Now, various types of joint. The cooling of magmas and lavas is very often accompanied by development of cracks or joints in the rocks. These joints sometimes follow definite patterns, thus may develop as horizontal sets, closely spaced and dividing the rock mass into sheets. This type of is called sheet structure. Similarly, there may be developed three sets of joints mutually at right angles to each other. The mass is divided into cubical blocks. The resulting structures is called the mural jointing. It is common. It is common in that your granites, in basalt, there are other volcanic rocks. The surface get divided into polygonal cracks, giving rise to the well-known columnar joint. This is in columnar jointing. This is your say the plan, and this is in the section. These are the different columns that are there. These are the joints. Now, these the various. Similarly, your reaction rim structures. They are reaction rim. You can see in the diagram. This is reaction. This was already found mineral when it got embedded into the magma. If say olivine is formed, right, and it reacts with the surrounding liquids and get converted into a rim of OPX or thermic pyroxenes. So these are also known as the central part. This is olivine, right? It will surround by your say different, this again rim like this, there can be different layers. So this already inner, the first, it reacts with the liquid and forms a ring. That's why it is known as the reaction rim structure or the corona structure. This is corona Kal. This is in geology also corona. Corona structure often shows a nucleus of an early formed minerals surrounded by one or more zones of reaction minerals. These zones may be granular or radiating fibers in structures. The mantling of olivine by pyroxene is quite common example. Means if olivine is mantled by your OPX, right? This is a common in you can say your that rock gabbro, then your and rock your the dolerite, right? Means in you will find what you will find that olivine is mantled by your OPX, and further the reaction then OPX will be followed by CPX like this, right? The term, or you can say the ring, or you can say the rim around olivine is made up of plagioclase. The rim around olivine, you can say this olivine, here it is electrolyte, but in general one says the rim around olivine is made of your pyroxenes, and that too I showed you the OPX pyroxenes. The rim is of primary origin and therefore a corona. And the common rocks are your norites, gabbros, and I told you dolerites. So this is common structure in your network. So these are few structures that are commonly found in igneous rocks. Thank you very much. We'll take some other topic in the next class. Thank you very much.